Today I'm going to share 14 items that we recently sold in our eBay store for over $40. My hope in sharing this is that it will give you maybe a few new ideas of things you could pick up that you maybe didn't consider picking up before that could be a great addition to your eBay store. So let's get right into it. The first item is this Hunter Sprinkler Irrigation Timer Controller. This sold for $249.99 plus $17.95 shipping. And this sold within about 2 weeks, so it was a pretty quick mover for us. Now, this one sold for as much as it did because it can control up to 30 stations. We also have good luck with the ones that control fewer zones, for example, 6 zones, but just keep in mind those aren't going to sell for as much money. Usually we sell those for around $35 to $50. So if you open up the panel, you'll see a compartment like this. And here will be the model number, so you can look it up and see how many zones that it will control and get a better idea of how much the specific unit will sell for. And I forgot to mention that we paid $10 for this, so it ended up being a great flip. Number 2 is this Lionel Train Power Transformer and Controller. We paid $8 for this, and we did accept a best offer of $70 plus $19.95 shipping. This sold within a couple of weeks, so it was another quick mover for us. Lionel is one of the biggest names in model trains, so whenever we come across Lionel stuff, we like to look it up, especially things like power supplies that can work with any scale of train. Number 3 is the Smoke and Carbon Monoxide Alarm. Now this brand was Kitty or Kid, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. But anytime we come across a combo smoke and carbon monoxide alarm that's new in box, we love to pick those up. With this specific item, we are pretty picky and we don't mess with them if they're not new in box. But if they're new in box, you can see these can bring in great money. We paid $10 for this pack of 2, and it sold for $100 plus $14.95 shipping. And this was another one that moved quickly. We sold it within a week or 2. Number 4 are these Vibram 5 Fingers women's shoes. We actually found 2 of these at the same sale. They were different sizes, but both new with tags, and we paid $10 each for these. We sold these to the same seller and they sold within 3 days. We will also pick these up if they're used, but in good condition, of course, so definitely be on the lookout for these. Number 5 is this rigid tool set. It came with the body and then various attachments, as you can see here. We ended up paying $15 for this, and it sold for $69.99 plus $10.95 shipping. This rigid impact driver head also came in that box with the rigid tools, and so we didn't even look this one up. We just saw that the rigid tool set in general had a high sell-through rate, and so we figured we could sell it for around $50. But when we got home, we found this impact driver head in the box as well, so it was an awesome bonus. And in doing a little research, we realized we'd make more by separating the two. So we sold this one separate, and this one sold for $64.99 plus $8.95 shipping. So it ended up basically being just a bonus sale, so that was awesome. So if you come across attachments for name brand tools, it's always worth taking a minute to look it up. This Climb Fleece, it was new with tags actually, and we paid $10 for this. And it ended up selling for $114.99 plus $9.95. Now this one did sit for a while. It ended up sitting for around 6 to 7 months, but it did have this co-branding on the back, so that may have been a factor with that. But it still sold for great money. We had a ton of interest, a ton of lowball offers, which we just kind of ignored. So we probably could have sold it sooner, but we held that and were able to get a full price offer, which was great. We were really happy with that sale. Climb is a great outdoor brand that specializes in making technical riding gear and motorsports apparel. So definitely a great brand to keep an eye out for. Number 8 is this men's Sitka quarter zip fleece. We paid $7 for this, and it sold for $94.99 plus $7.95 shipping. This took about 3 weeks to sell, and we actually just sold a few other Sitka pieces recently as well. This is a very popular hunting brand currently, and we love to pick it up whenever we're lucky enough to come across it. Number 9 is this new open box Google Nest camera. We paid $10 for this, and it sold for $114.99 plus $10.95 shipping. This sold within a week. This particular model had a very high sell-through rate. We always look up name brand home technology that integrates with other smart home devices. So think thermostats, doorbells, security cameras, that sort of thing. As long as it's name brand. We actually just picked up 3 Vivint security cameras. We paid around $5 a piece for those, and they should sell for around $100 each. So definitely be on the lookout for name brand home technology pieces. Number 10 was this pair of Rudy Project Ride-On Golf sunglasses. We picked these up at a thrift store for only $1.50, and we ended up accepting accepting a best offer. They sold for $90.69 plus $9.95 shipping. They took about a month to sell, and we had actually never heard of this brand before. If you're familiar with it, let me know in the comments. But as we examined the glasses, we saw here it said Ride on Golf. And so that was kind of our cue to look them up. If you come across specialty equipment that's made for expensive sports like golfing, hunting, etc., generally those pieces can bring in some good money, and that was definitely the case with this. When we looked this up, there actually weren't a lot of comps on it, so we decided to take a gamble because it was only $1.50, and it definitely paid off. So I'm glad that we decided to pick these up, and we'll definitely be on the lookout for these in the future. Number 11 is the Zojirushi bread maker. We paid $10 for this, and we did accept a best offer. It sold for $220 plus $74.95 shipping. We also love picking up Zojirushi rice makers. Those do really well for us as well. And it actually ended up working out well because this shipped to a nearby state, so we didn't have to pay as much in shipping as we were expecting. And so it ended up being a great profit item for us. Number 12 is this Torque car buffer. We ended up paying $20 for this, and we did accept a best offer of $85 plus $14.95 shipping. And the car buffer actually came with these Chemical Guys finishing pads. So after doing a little research, we decided to sell the buffer and the pad separately, and it ended up working out well. We sold the pads for $50 plus $7.95 shipping, and both the buffer and the pads sold fairly quickly. Within about 3 weeks, we had sold them both. Number 13 is this MSR Dragonfly portable backpacking stove, and it was actually the stove only. It didn't have the attachments like the pump or the bottle, and we accepted a best offer of $42 and $7.95 shipping. We had a lot of interest in this, a lot of lowball offers, and it ended up selling within a week. We love picking up outdoor gear. I don't know a ton about backpacking stoves, but I do know that with backpacking, the lighter the better. So of course, not all portable stoves are created equal. Some are gonna fetch a higher dollar than others, especially if you find ones that are compact and extremely lightweight. And of course, as you know, brand will influence price as well. So in general, if you come across backpacking stoves, it's worth taking a minute to check it out and look up if that specific one's worth picking up. And the last item, number 14, is this Looney Tunes denim jacket. This was $3.50 at a yard sale, and it sold for $49.95 plus $10.95 shipping. This one did end up sitting for a while. We actually picked it up last summer and it just now sold, so it took about a year, but it was just such a unique, cool piece that I couldn't leave it behind. It did have a big black mark on the front that was unfortunate. It probably contributed to why it was sitting so long. This was definitely one of my favorite pickups, probably not the best as far as sell-through goes, but I'm sure you can relate. Sometimes you just find those really unique pieces that you just have to pick up because you know somebody will really appreciate it and the right buyer will eventually come along. So I try not to make that a habit. We don't have a ton of storage, so you have to be pretty selective and look for high sell-through rate items for the most part, but every now and then I like to make an exception if I come across a really unique piece like this. And just to put things in perspective, we also had a lot of low dollar sales where profit margin wasn't nearly as high and they were more bread and butter type pieces. But I tried to pick out items that were maybe a little more unique or less well known to hopefully give you a few ideas of things to pick up that maybe you didn't consider before. What has been one of your favorite recent sales or even one of your favorite recent pickups? Let me know in the comments. I love to hear. Thanks so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.